Hello everyone, welcome to Biomedico channel. Now we are dealing with kingdom fungi. In our previous video we have seen about Ascomycetes and Phycomycetes, and in this video we will see Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes. So guys, please stay tuned in this video because at the end of the video I will give you a shortcut of this table by which you can easily remember all of the four classes of the fungi and their important features. Now let us see Basidiomycetes. Now Basidiomycetes, their commonly known form of Basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi or puff balls. Now mushrooms. This is an important question, that mushrooms fall under which class of the fungi? Basidiomycetes. They grow in the soil, on logs, tree stumps or in living plant bodies as parasites. Example, the rust and the smut. Now this is also important, that parasitic fungi, rust and smut, they also fall under Basidiomycetes. Now what about mycelium? Their mycelium is branched and septate. Now come to asexual reproduction. Asexual spores are generally not found, means asexual spores are absent in Basidiomycetes, but vegetative reproduction takes place here by fragmentation. Now the sex organs are also absent in Basidiomycetes, but plasmogamy is brought about by the fusion of two vegetative, or you can say somatic, cells of different strains or genotypes. Plasmogamy occurs between the two vegetative hypha or the two somatic hypha. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to the basidium. Karyogamy occurs and meiosis takes place in the basidium, producing 4 basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously produced in the basidium. The basidium are arranged in the fruiting bodies called basidiocarp. Now this portion is very important. Let us understand the concept, guys. See here, guys. First, two somatic hypha. This is first somatic hypha, this is second somatic hypha. These are the two hyphas. They fuse together. When they fuse together, the resultant is a dikaryotic phase, means two nuclei, okay. This is called dikaryotic phase. The resultant is dikaryotic phase. Now this dikaryotic phase, it gives rise to basidium. Now these are basidium, okay. See, this is one basidium, this is two, this is three basidium. This basidium, they join to form basidiocarp, which is the fruiting body. Now this basidiocarp is the fruiting body. Now within this basidium, these are the basidiums. Within this basidium, karyogamy occurs, and meiosis occurs, which gives rise to 4 basidiospores. See, these are the basidiospores, and you can see within each single basidium there are 1 2 3 4 basidiospores. Here is also 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 basidiospores. These are 1 2 3 4 basidium. They are joined to form the basidiocarp. Within this basidium, 4 spores, basidiospores, are produced exogenously. See, you can see these are present outside the basidiocarp, outside the fruiting body. So these basidiospores are exogenous. And this is the mycelium. This whole thing, it is the mycelium. So what happens actually? Two somatic hypha, they fuse together to form a dikaryotic stage, that is multinucleated stage. This dikaryotic stage forms this mycelium. Now this dikaryotic stage from the mycelium, actually what happens? Basidium arises. This basidium, This basidium, they fuse together to form the fruiting body that is called basidiocarp. Now within this basidium, karyogamy and meiosis occurs, that is reduction division occurs to form 4 basidiospores. 4 basidiospores within each basidium. Okay. Now these basidiospores, these are produced outside the fruiting body, that is basidiocarp, so they are exogenous. So this is the simple thing that is given in your NCERT. Okay. Now this diagram is very important, this chart, for your understand. So plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains and genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, we have seen, which ultimately gives rise to the basidium. Now karyogamy, and actually what happens, these basidia, they are arranged in fruiting bodies that is called basidiocarp. Now within the basidium, karyogamy occurs and reduction division meiosis occurs, that gives rise to 4 basidiospores. Means per basidium there will be 4 basidiospores. Now these basidiospores, they are exogenous since they are produced outside the fruiting body, so they are exogenous, produced on the basidium. Now some common examples, there are 3 examples. Agaricus, also known as mushroom. So it is important that another name of the mushroom is Agaricus. Then Astilago is also known as smut. And Pusinia is also called rust fungi. And also rust and smut. So rust is also called Pusinia, the smut is also called Astilago, and mushroom is Agaricus. So in your NCERT, this is the picture of Agaricus, which is the mushroom Basidiomycetes. So the picture may be given and asked, it is the example of which class of fungi, this agaricus. This picture is an example of Basidiomycetes. So picture based MCQ is also important. Thereby we have completed Basidiomycetes. Now let us see Deuteromycetes. It is a very small Deuteromycetes one. That Duteromycetes, commonly known as imperfect fungi, because only the asexual or the vegetative phase of this fungi are known. It is important which of the following class of the fungi is known as fungi imperfecti or imperfect fungi. It is Duteromycetes. When the sexual forms of this fungi are discovered, they are moved into classes they rightly belong to. It is also possible that asexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and the sexual stage another class. Later, when the linkages are established, the fungi are correctly identified and moved out of the Duteromycetes. Once perfect at the sexual stage of the members of the Duteromycetes are discovered, they are often moved to Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, as their asexual phase is only known, sexual phase is not known. Once we can find the sexual stages of these members of Duteromycetes, then they may be shifted to either Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes depending on the mode of their sexual reproduction. Now Duteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, and the name of the spore is Conidia. This is important. See, this is an exception that only asexual spores, which was spore Conidia. The mycelium is septate branch as usual. Some members are saprophytic or parasitic, while this line is important. A large number of the Duteromycetes, they are decomposers of the litter and help in mineral cycling. Some example is important. There are 3 examples that is given under Duteromycetes: Alternaria, Coleotrichum, Trichoderma. These are the 3 examples that is very important. So give it a stir. These 3 example is very important. Examples of Duteromycetes is important, and it is also known as fungi imperfecti. This point is important. Only asexual phase is known, and asexual spore is Conidia. A large number of them are the decomposers of the litter and help in mineral cycling. These are the few important lines of Duteromycetes. So the mnemonic by which you can remember these 3 examples: tricol, tri for the trichoderma, co for the Coledotrichum, and AL for the alternaria, or you can also use simply TCA, T for Trichoderma, C for Coledotrichum, and A for the alternaria. So thereby we have completed a very important kingdom, that is the kingdom fungi. So guys, now let us summarize all the 4 classes of the kingdom fungi in this simple table about the mycelium, their habitat, asexual and sexual spores. Now first of all, Phycomycetes. The Phycomycetes are aquatic and saprophytic. Ascomycetes are also saprophytic. Basidiomycetes also saprophytic. Duteromycetes are also saprophytic. Now here important is that Ascomycetes, it is the only Phycomycetes, it is only aquatic, whereas rest other Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes are saprophytic. Now about the mycelium, Phycomycetes has only a septate mycelium, and all other rest Ascomycetes have septate, Basidiomycetes also have septate mycelium, and Deuteromycetes they also have septate mycelium. So a septate mycelium is found only in Phycomycetes. Now come to asexual spores. Now asexual spores in Phycomycetes, it is endogenous, and asexual spores in Ascomycetes are exogenous. Basidiomycetes asexual spores are absent, and in Deuteromycetes also asexual spores are exogenous. Asexual spores are endogenous only in Phycomycetes, and it is absent in Basidiomycetes, and it is exogenous in Ascomycetes and Deuteromycetes. Now the sexual spores. The sexual spores are endogenous in Phycomycetes. They are also endogenous in Ascomycetes. Sexual spores are exogenous in Basidiomycetes, and it is absent in Deuteromycetes. Now sexual spore is exogenous only in the Basidiomycetes and endogenous in both Phycomycetes and Ascomycetes, and it is absent in Deuteromycetes. Hope this table will help you guys, and this table is very important, so note this table, or either you can take a screenshot of this table. So in our next video we'll see shortly about the kingdom plant animalia, and then we'll move to another high topic, viruses, viroids, prions and lichen. This topic is very important. So hope you like this video guys. If you like this video, please do subscribe and do like to this video, which will motivate me to make more such videos. And till then, please do revise again and again your NCERT. Bye.